Hi, Gary Chillingworth here for Airgun World Magazine, Shooting and Country TV. Welcome to Life at the Range. Although we're not currently on the range, mainly because I can't get out there because A, it's under about 3 foot of grass, and B, I just can't make it. But we have made it out of the conservatory. Conservatory is about 20 feet that way, and that's about as far as I can get at the moment. For those of you who have not been watching our sick note editions of Life at the Range, I've damaged my peroneal tendon, and that means that I've got mild paralysis in my left foot, and as such I can't really move very well. So as such, there's not a lot of HFT content at the moment, and there's certainly no kickboxing or 10k runs or anything like that, which I usually do. But what we are going to do today is we're going to look at something that's actually quite good for me at the moment. It's silent garden shooting. Now, we are, where I live here, I think our nearest neighbour's about 1/4 of a mile away. We've got Silver End just in that direction, Braintree over there. But our nearest neighbour is a house just that way, and we've got a farm about that way, and we've got miles away. So to a certain degree, I'm fairly good with what I do here. But what we do have, just going down there, is the Essex Way. And the Essex Way, you get ramblers, people walking and things like that. And part of the law when you're shooting at home is obviously your pellet must not leave the boundary of your fence, but you must not, he said, I think, I can't remember what the exact words are, but there's no hindrance or interruption of people around you. So if I'm shooting and it scares people, I could still be in trouble for that. So trying to be as covert as possible is the best way to be. When I'm on the range, which is on the other side of the house, nowhere near the Essex Way or anywhere like that, but when I want to do my standing practice, just over there, I've got some nice birch trees, which I use to practice my supported standers. So what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to look at the 3 main parts of silent shooting. Number 1 is the gun itself. Number 2 is the pellet whilst it travels. And the most important bit is the pellet when it impacts with the target. So they're the 3 things that will actually create noise and will draw attention to what you are currently doing. So enough waffle, let's get on with the video. So what you want to do is shoot quietly. You don't want to draw people's attention to what you're doing. There's no point in having the local Karen looking over a fence and going, what's going on there? And then starting making phone calls to plod. Now, as I said before, you're entitled to shoot in your garden if you own your home or if it's mortgaged. If you're in rented accommodation or in council accommodation, check with your landlord, because I have known of some councils who have threatened to evict people for having air guns on the property. Absolutely outrageous, but apparently they have been done. So trying to shoot covertly, and I'm not saying that you should do this to subvert your lease, but just, what's the old saying? What the eye doesn't see, the heart doesn't grieve over. So if people can't see what you're doing, as long as you're legal, just makes life a bit easier. So if you want to shoot quiet, what do you do? Well, the first thing you need to do, get a quiet gun, or make your gun as quiet as possible. Here we have a BRK Ghost. Now, I'm really glad that I've currently got this rifle, because obviously I'm going to be doing quite a lot more stick shooting in the coming months whilst I'm getting over my recovery. We've also got, as he goes into his plastic bag, we've got a decibel meter which we have set up on our phone here. Now, this gun is fitted with a silencer, and yes, it is a silencer, because when the first guy who invented it, I think it was a German chap, that's what the patent said. So anyone says, no, it's a modifier, it's a compressor, a compensator, or whatever, not a compressor, it's a compensator or whatever. Yes, that is correct. They are moderators, they are compensators, because it doesn't make the gun silent, but the patent says silencer. Now, this is the silencer that is currently with my Ghost. The gun is empty, I have checked it. And this is the one that comes with the Ghost. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to fire a shot off without the silencer, and we're going to fire it into the ground so it's nice and quiet. Right, so we just set this up. Probably be easier if I'm actually looking at it when I fire, because they show up the speed. Let me put that down. I do love the single shot loader, because while I'm trying to manipulate the gun, I know for a fact it's empty until this is pushed forward. Well, I've loaded it and pushed forward. Just talk amongst yourselves. Right, so ambient noise is 50. And that peaked at 90. When we put the one down range, we'll actually film it, but you'll have to trust me on that. So yeah, so it peaked at 90. So let's put our moderator on. Silencer, sorry. Okay. And that peaked at 81. So that's 9 dBs less. But I don't know if you could actually hear from the shot, even though it's not massively quieter, it changes the pitch. It's a much softer, I don't actually know how you'd say it, but when you fire it, it is a much quieter round going off. Now, if you want this even quieter, you can get larger silencers that go on it, and that will reduce the sound even more. But essentially, you're always going to have air coming out down there through the barrel and out, so you are not going to get it perfectly quiet. But the question is, if you're sitting in your garden and you're going bang 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 bang, people are going to pick up on it. There's nothing you can do about that. So a friend of mine, what he used to do is, if he was shooting outdoors in his garden, he'd just put the radio on. He'd have one of these little speakers out in the garden, just put the radio on, and that's enough to completely drown out 90 decibels. If I put the radio on now, hang on, let's just prove the point. Right. Phone, right, so I'm not going to turn this up massive. This is absolute radio, bow meter. Oh. Even with that not particularly loud, it helps to drown out, or more importantly, break up the sound of the gun firing. So the cocking of the rifle, not massively loud, but obviously if you've got something like a spring gun, and we'll put up some footage here of me cocking a spring gun, as you can see, it's considerably louder. We've got the spring being compressed, we've got the arm going back up, it's going clank, clank, clank. So playing a radio or something like this, like playing the radio or something like that in the background, it really does help break up the sound of the pellet, sorry, of the gun being cocked. So that's pretty much it. Get a good silencer, put the radio on. If you can, shoot indoors, going out, and that will totally break up the sound. Just make sure there's no chance of anybody walking in your back door or a cat walking across or something like that. You've always got to have a safe line of sight, and if you can, put up a flag saying shooting, speak to your family. Just make sure that if you are shooting and there's anything coming from the outsides, you've got to block that off and make sure that everybody knows what they're doing. Okay, so the next bit is pellet in flight. Now, I'm going to put up some, there's a spider there, go away. I'm going to put up some footage here of when I was shooting the 100 yard TX challenge. Now, I'll leave you to watch this for a second. One more. And I don't know if you can pick this up, but you can definitely hear the pellet going and coming in. Now, I did some testing with the pellet coming straight out the gun and going to about 30 or 40 yards. I was not able to hear that, the Doppler effect of something coming from the out and coming in and then going the other way. I think the reason you were picking that up is possibly because it's an 844 grain pellet and it's slowing down. So that's why it's 100 yards. That's why you're able to hear it. Now, I know if you're shooting a 308, 1,000 yards or 600 yards, you're going to hear that, but that's a much heavier round and it's still moving much quicker. I don't know, but I don't see it being a problem. I don't think people are going to be able to pick up the pellet going as it's going through. So if I'm wrong, please let me know. I don't recommend you stand down range whilst people shoot pellets past you. But now we're going to come on to the most important bit. We're going to start shooting some metal down range, and we're going to look at things that would help deaden the sound of a pellet impacting down range. Okay, so here we are. We're set up down range. We've got our pellet capture. Absolutely superb piece of kit. And let's see what kind of sounds that we get from it. I'm going to turn off my mic here so you can just see the pure sound down range. I'm not actually aiming. Now, as you can see, okay, that last one we actually knocked the thing over. Right, fair enough. The power of the BRK Ghost. We're only around about 15 yards. But as you can see, having that bang, 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 pellet on metal, that is going to pee people off. If you're trying to sit in your back garden with your glass of Pimm's, your mug of tea, or whatever it is you want to do, and you've got that permanent, that is going to annoy people, and you're going to get people, not just Karen, but you're going to get anyone knocking on your door saying, "Oi mate, come on, it's Sunday afternoon, I'm trying to get my head down." So let's go and put some bits in there, and let's see if we can find our 3 favourite things for deadening the sound. The first one is insulation. This is insulation. This is actually the stuff that comes with our, we buy fresh dog food that you keep in the freezer and it's delivered with this. But essentially it's the same as insulation you get in the roof. Well, I don't know about you, but I didn't actually hear that hit down range. Okay, so the third shot is the first time the pellet got through to the back. Okay, so the insulation works very, very well. But I get the feeling it compresses very quickly and the pellets go round. So if you're hitting in the same space, it took me 3 shots to get through the insulation all the way through to the back. But I reckon if you bought one of those big rolls from Wickes, 7 or 8 pounds they are, and you put that downrange as your backstop, I reckon that could work quite well. But that was certainly very, very quiet, almost like it was insulated. Our next one is the good old-fashioned bag of sand. Now, sorry, carrying a bag of sand for 15 feet not recommended. This is just a bag of sand. It's not like the bag of sand that Richard Woods would have, which would all be in 5s, 10s and 20s. For those of you who weren't brought up in London, bag of sand, fella, means £1,000. Shooting £1,000, would that stop her? I'll have a word with Richard. I'll see if I can borrow £1,000 off him in crisp fivers. We'll set it up downrange and we'll see if that'll stop a pellet. See how much money it costs to stop an airgun pellet at 20 feet. That'd be a very good idea. Sorry, I digress. It's the drugs. Haven't actually taken any codeine because I was filming today. I took my last lot of codeine about 8 hours ago. I wouldn't be shooting an air gun if I was actually on medication. Right, what a friend of mine does is he's got, you know, those plastic bins that you can get, the square ones in Tesco's, £4 or £5. Cut out a square on one end, use a Dremel, so that he can put his target over the top of it, and then the rest of it he fills with sand. Well, right, I'll just cut a square out, put gaffer tape over the hole, because you don't want to be shooting through the plastic, fill it with sand, then you stick your target on. And then when that gaffer tape gets absolutely obliterated, you just put more gaffer tape on and it stops the sand from leaking out. But let's see how quiet shooting a bag of sand is. My best Danny Dyer impression. Okay, that was quiet. And the great thing about sand is it's more dense than fiberglass or, you know, or insulation. So I think you can shoot sand, and also as you're shooting the sand, as it makes a hole, depending on how wet the sand is, the sand will essentially drop down and will fill up the gaps. But as you can see, just by putting something like sand down range, we've totally knocked out that high-pitched ringing sound that you got from just hitting metal. Where we are here, the gun is making more noise than the target. So there we go, bag of sand, that seems to work very, very well. And now what we're going to go on to is the fan favourite and what everybody told me to try, and that's plumber's putty. Okay, so we're going to get 3 rounds off quickly because the cameras are overheating, or the mobile phones are overheating. Plumber's putty. Well, that was certainly quiet. Okay, so let me just make sure we are clear. We are clear. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got the plumber's putty. This is Evo Stick Plumber's Mate, and the pellet has gone down, I don't know, probably, really shouldn't do this. Right, it's gone down about that much. So I'd say just over ½ an inch, or to you ladies, an inch. I think plumber's putty is very, very good, but I think you'd need to have something downrange to hold it in a square thing, maybe slightly angled backwards, because it is a fluid. I don't know if it's non-Newtonian. Yeah, I think it might be slightly non-Newtonian. Non-Newtonian is when you, a liquid like custard, that if you go up to it and push your foot down, sorry, your finger down into it, it will allow your finger to go down. But if you slap it really hard and impart a lot of energy into it, then you get a, it basically turns into a solid. It's called a non-Newtonian fluid. Why the hell are we talking about that? Okay, so non-Newtonian fluid is plumber's putty. put it downrange, stick it into a vessel, something like, you know, the pellet catchers you can buy. It's similar to that, but you can get them on eBay for 7 or 8 quid. Get down to your gun shop, they will be able to supply you with one. Put that at the back, stick a target in front of it. But I think it's one of these things that after maybe 30, 40, 50 shots, you would have to go up and maybe massage it, give it a whack and put it back into a position so that you're not just hitting the same point over and over again. It'll probably work better on targets where you've got a load of little dots and you're going dot, 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 as opposed to just hitting the bullseye every single time. But that's certainly quiet. But what we're going to do now is let's look at the 4 together. So we'll put up some footage and we'll go from metal to, what was after metal? Metal, insulation, sand, plumber's putty. So metal, insulation, sand, plumber's putty. And I think you can probably tell from that all 3 of the things that we were shooting at are probably, well, they're 1,000 times better than just hitting raw metal. So what would I use? I think for ease of use, having one of those plastic buckets with a lid, so keep the rain out, putting it downrange, cut a hole in it, target over the top with gaffer tape and target. You can just leave it there and then just go and put a new target out as and when you want to shoot. Put a cover over it, put it on a chair with a cover over it so people can't see it when it's raining. Oh, sorry, can't see it when you're shooting. Another thing you do, we've got our setup down here. It's basically just sitting on a chair. You could put one of those, you know, the beach parasols, not parasols, the things that keep the windbreaks. If Karen was living next door, if you put a windbreak along the right hand side, not only would that also dissipate more sound, because obviously the sound has got to get through the windbreak, but she's not going to see a pellet hitting into a target because she might be looking out of a window, or he could be a Karen, could be a he Karen, probably a vegan. Apologies, said Edwards, the veggie hunter. If you're a vegetarian and you want to see somebody who shoots and have fun, go and follow said Edwards, the veggie shooter. Does some brilliant videos and is a lot of fun. So a bit rambly today, but yeah, I reckon if you put a windbreak down the side of it, you're shooting, it would help tie you in. Bang, 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 bang. Don't draw attention to yourself. And the other thing is you could put a spotlight out down there and you could shoot at night or shoot in the dark. But just make sure no matter what you're doing, if you're just shooting a plastic box with sand or plumber's putty in it, I'd still stick a paving slab out the back just in case, for God knows why, a pellet got through. Because the last thing you want to do is it to go through your backstop, through the fence, into your garden next door. Criminal offence, but more importantly, you could hurt someone. Well, that's pretty much it. Silent shooting in the garden. Pays your money, it takes your choice. I'm going to go inside and have a little lay down before I edit this, and I'm hoping I haven't forgotten anything. But if there is anything that you think would make a good part 2 for this, let me know. We did look into rubber chips, but they're very expensive. Somebody recommended just use an old rubber tyre, but I don't quite like the sound of the ricochet that I think it might send back. But if you've got anything that you use, let me know, and we may very well have a part 2 or add it into another video. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, shoot straight, don't hurt your perineal nerve, and then we'll see you again on the range, because we ain't going anywhere else very, very soon. Take care. Ta-da.